Raider Nation, the Raiders Report is all about giving the nation a voice. So I want you guys to be pretty loud in my next mock draft. And what do I mean by that exactly? No, I'm not saying get a head start on 420. I'm talking about if you go over to Locals right now, you can actually make the picks in my next mock draft. So become a supporter at RaidersReport.locals.com, and then all the supporters are going to tally up the votes. And then next Monday, I'm going to do a mock draft based on all the players that you picked. Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and before we get into today's updated mock draft, I got to give some major love to today's sponsor, Manscaped. These guys are absolutely sensational, and I don't know about y'all, my March Madness bracket was absolutely busted, but you know what? My balls do look perfect, so shout out to them, Manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping. Just use code Raiders at checkout. That way they know I sent you. So when you talk about Raiders mock drafts, I made one a few weeks ago. And, well, it looks a lot different than what it is now, so I figured, all right, I'm going to give you guys an updated one after all the moves the Raiders went ahead and did in free agency. And, oh, yeah, kind of forgot. The Raiders also traded for this guy named Davante Adams. They gave up their first and their second-round pick, so I had to update my mock draft. So as it stands right now, the Raiders have 5 picks. You have the third-round pick, 86 overall. Fourth-round pick, 126. 164, 165 back-to-back in round 5, and then pick 228 in round 7. Now, I think the Raiders have done a pretty good job going forward addressing a lot of their needs in free agency, but I also heard Josh McDaniels talk, and I heard Dave Ziegler talk as well, and, well, I know that they still think that this team has some needs out there, and maybe they go out and draft based on needs. However, I see them going out and drafting on best player available, which is something that you're going to end up seeing that I do here on today's show, because some of the players that ended up falling down to me, I was pleasantly surprised, and I really tried to put myself in Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels' shoes. So the Raiders, man, I don't know if there's been this much excitement around a Raiders team in a very long time. So if you're excited for the 2022 season to get underway, I'm excited for the Hall of Fame game, the preseason, the regular season, everything leading up to it. I'm excited, and I hope you guys are too, so go ahead and like the video. Now, usually, when I do these mock drafts, and I should mention, I did this mock draft through PFN. Please do not send me your PFF mock drafts, because personally, I think PFF is garbage when it comes to NFL draft content. Now, usually, though, I walk you guys through, all right, here are the first 21 picks until the Raiders pick at 22. If I went through the first 85 picks, we would have an entire show just based on that, and y'all would be asleep. So what I figured I'd do is this. All right, run the simulation. Here are the top 5 players that I thought were available at pick number 86. You had Nick Bonito, Quay Walker, Daniel Vallely, Greg Dulcich, and then Cameron Thompson of San Diego State. So Cameron Thomas, excuse me. So let me know down in the comments, right? And sure, there's going to be some other players out there where Sky Moore went right before me. I was kind of hoping for him. He's a really talented wide receiver that I like a lot. But out of those 5 players, or maybe you can throw in an extra name, who do you want the Raiders to draft at pick number 86? With the third-round pick, pick number 86, the Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to go ahead and select Quay Walker, linebacker out of Georgia. I do not believe that linebacker is still one of the biggest needs for this team in terms of inside linebacker, but he was the best player on my board. He's instinctive. He recognizes plays very quickly, and sure, he was around a lot. And I mean a lot of talent on that Georgia defense. You can make the argument it's maybe the best defense that we've maybe have ever seen. However, to be able to find a player that I believe is a starting caliber inside linebacker at the NFL level in the third round at pick 86, I was like, all right, I can go with that. Good run stopper, which the Raiders desperately need because, let's face it, their interior defensive lineman is a weakness. He is below average in coverage, but I think I addressed that a little bit later on. He is 6'4", 240 pounds. He had 55 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 0 forced fumbles last season for the Bulldogs. If you can also then add in the college playoffs, he had 67 tackles, I believe is the exact number. And then when you talk about linebackers, we have Divine Diablo, who I really truly believe is going to be a solid linebacker for a long time. Denzel Perriman, though, has 1 year left on his deal. The reason why I'm going to go with Quay Walker also is because I'm building for the future. Not that I don't like Denzel Perriman. He's 29 years old. He had 154 tackles last season. But what happens if you have Quay Walker, you bring him in, let him learn behind Denzel, also get solid reps, and then you let Perriman become a free agent at age 30, and now you got your two starting linebackers for a long time in Divine Diablo, and then also Quay Walker. So guys, Manscaped, they are the ones turning on the lights and also turning on your girls. The moment that you step in that shower, I want you guys feeling good. And then when you come out of the shower, man, you better be feeling fresh as well. And the Ultra Premium Collection is the best way to make sure that your Kansas Jayhawk is looking like a Kansas Jay. It rhymes with Hawk. You can figure it out. Promo code Raiders, $39.99 is the price that I'm hooking you up with. $49.99 is the usual deal. So the reason why I love the Ultra Premium Collection, you step in, use the shampoo, the conditioner, the body wash, you come out, little deodorant. I know some people think lip balm's overrated. Those people are single AF. Go to Manscaped.com, free shipping, 20% off. Just use code Raiders at checkout. All right, let's go to the next pick here, round 4, pick 124 for the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's Nick Cross, the safety out of Maryland. Let me just be honest with y'all. I do not see Nick Cross being available in the 4th round, but you know what? If he's available in this mock, I'm going to take him. Thick, muscly, broad frame, which is going to allow him to cover tight ends. If I got to watch Travis Kelce run down a seam one more time and rip apart this defense, I'm going to throw up. Nick Cross, to me, is a player that I think could actually match up pretty well with some of these tight ends that like to run that seam route. Plus, I don't know if I would trust him 100% covering receivers. He does have excellent speed. He ran a 4.34 40. And the other thing that I love about him, he's just a tough dude. He is a tone setter. And when he's in the middle of the field, he's not afraid to hit somebody. Imagine Jonathan Abram, but can cover better. That's what Nick Cross is, and I'm getting him here in the 4th round. And then I think it also goes to that point. If the Raiders don't decide to keep Jonathan Abram around, which, let's face it, this is going to be the final year that Abram is going to be in the silver and black. Now you have Nick Cross. You have another defensive back at 6'1", 210 pounds, 66 tackles, 3 interceptions, 5 pass breakups last season. Just like I said about Quay Walker and then Divine Diablo, I'm also looking for my safeties, my defensive backs for the future. I still like Tyree Gillespie, curious to see what he can do, but you know Merrick's going to be the dog. You know Merrick's going to be one of your top safeties. Abram is more of just a box guy. If you're able to get Nick Cross in the 4th round, you pair him with Merrick, I'm telling you, you guys are really going to like what he ends up bringing to the table. We're in round 5 now, pick 164, and the Las Vegas Raiders are going to go ahead and take Amari Barno, the defensive end, or I like to think of him as an outside linebacker in the National Football League. At least that's how he would fit with Patrick Graham's system. Now, you might not have heard of this guy too much before the NFL Combine, but he's long limb, and he does have some explosive athletic traits. And if I was Barno, personally, the number one guy I would love to be able to learn behind, Chandler Jones. I'm not sitting up here saying Barno is going to be the next Chandler Jones. Not what I'm saying at all. However, they are built fairly similar, and Barno ran a 4.36 40 at the Combine. So all I know is this. His bend does need to get better. He showed some solid flashes at times the past 2 seasons, but if you're telling me I could put somebody on the edge in a division with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, who runs a 4.36 on 3rd down, 3rd and 11, Barno pins his ears back, go get the quarterback, to me, that brings some value. And when you talk about a lot of the outside linebackers that the Raiders have, so far, the only one listed on the depth chart is Kyler Fackrell. I do believe that the Raiders are also going to make Malcolm Kuntz a outside linebacker as well. Probably not going to have him put his hand in the dirt, but you can't have too many edge rushers. And for somebody who has as athletic as what Barno is, we brought in all these coaches that are supposed to be great teachers. Well, let's go ahead and teach Barno something because I want to use that athletic ability to get after the quarterbacks in this division. If you guys are looking for more videos, who doesn't like more videos? That's what this channel is all about. Then subscribe to the Raiders Report today. Turn on those notifications because if anything breaking happens, whether it's April, May, June, July, I've made a video on this channel for basically every single day now for about 3 straight years. Why? I'm dedicated to the nation, and if you bleed silver and black, hit the subscribe button and then turn on those noties. Let's go to the very next pick in the draft, round 5, pick 165. It's Marcus Jones. Now, I talked to an NFL draft expert, and he said if Jones was over 6 foot, he could potentially be a first-round pick. He is twitchy, explosive, versatile. all the things that I'm going to be looking for in a player on this Raiders team. Now, I'm going to be honest. He's listed as a cornerback out of Houston. I don't know if he's ever going to be a cornerback in the National Football League. I don't know. But what I do know is this. He's special. You turn on the tape, and you're like, man, this guy just moves differently. 9 career special teams touchdown. He's got good vision. His ability to hit his top speed. I'm going to throw out 2 names. It reminds me of Tyreek Hill's ability to hit top speed. I talked to my guy Tom Downey. He threw out a name, Devin Hester. And then I'm also going to throw out a name, Donta Hall. His quick shiftiness, it's there. You can't teach it. And if he ever can be a good player on the defensive end, he's going to need good coaching. There's also a part of me, and I'm glad Tom said this before I did today's show, could you use him just as a weapon on offense? Remember, Devin Hester was primarily a punt returner. They tried him out of wide receiver, it didn't work. But every time he was on offense, you had to respect the speed. He's only 5'8". He's 185 pounds. And at Houston, he put up some good numbers. 5 interceptions, 13 pass breakups. It's just, he relied way too much on his athletic ability, God-given talents, and not so much on his technique. In the NFL, he's going to get beat, and he's going to get burnt because he's going to rely too much on his athletic ability, and other guys are just as athletic as he is. So as it stands right now, you're looking at a cornerback depth chart. Mullen, Hobbs, Rock Ya-Sin. As it stands right now, those are your starters. But I was hoping that you could get a little bit more out of Meek Robertson. I don't know how that's going to work. The Raiders did go out and sign Darius Phillips, who also has some special teams ability. Then you have Everett as well, who I did like the Raiders signing him from the Baltimore Ravens. This is a special teamer that's got some high upside. And personally, I think he's a baller. Speaking of balling out, I want to have a little bit of fun with y'all, and this is another reason to become a member and a supporter over on Locals. I'm going to do a Raiders Zoom watch party, so if you want to watch the North Carolina and Kansas game with me, all you got to do, go to raidersupport.locals.com. That link's going to be available for you on the comments and description of today's video. Locals is all about getting to know me better and providing more fun content, exclusive videos, expanded access, and if you want to hit me up and do random shows like this, which is literally going to be me sitting on a Zoom call, you guys coming on in, and we're going to watch the game together. That's what this is all about. So if you're interested in that, come ahead, be a supporter, become a member, raidersreport.locals.com, and if you're watching this on a later date, I do videos like this. We're going to do Zoom calls like this the entire offseason. Let's go now to the final pick here in my Raiders mock draft, round 7, pick 228. And usually when I get this far in the draft, I look for upside. So I'm going to go with Christopher Allen. And he's a linebacker, defensive end from Alabama. When he was coming out of high school, he's one of the most highly recruited players in all of high school. Why? Because he's just a physical specimen. And when you look at him, you're like, yeah, this guy plays football. And he just looks like a dude. If the injuries would not have happened in 2018 to the knee, last season in 2021, missed every single game -1 due to a foot injury. If the injuries aren't there, he's probably a player that gets picked in the top 4 rounds. He's got good bend, leverage, length to set the edge. 6'4", 240 pounds. I'm looking for edge rushers. I'm looking for guys that can get after the quarterback. And in the 7th round, maybe he gets healthy. I don't have an answer for you. But if he does end up healthy, this is an absolute steal of a pick. And when you're talking about the Raiders depth chart as it stands, I would rather the Raiders take a shot on him then, sorry, Clee's not going to be around after next year. Gary Green, sorry, you don't really have too much upside to me. I would let him come in, make sure he's healthy, learn behind some of these other stud players, and then you're just simply ready to rock and continue to roll. Raiders mock draft, we're giving you an updated one after the Davante Adams trade in round 3, pick 86. I ended up going with Quay Walker, the linebacker out of Georgia. Good inside linebacker. Hopefully he can take over for Denzel Perriman after next season. Then you got 2 solid guys up the middle, Divine Diablo and Quay Walker. Round 4, pick 126, Nick Cross, the safety out of Maryland. I don't see him being here in round 4. But I didn't do the PFN mock draft, or at least I'm not the one that created it. I was just the one that ended up making the picks. Physical safety, runs a 4.34, can cover tight ends, can cover wide receivers. Love the tenacity that he brings on the defensive side of the football. Round 5, Amari Barno, the edge from Virginia Tech. Now the Raiders have back-to-back fifth-round picks. They don't have a first or a second because, remember, they traded for Davante Adams, which I am totally okay with at this point. But Barno, I would want him to learn behind Chandler Jones. He ran a 4.3640 long, lanky guy, put up some good numbers in back-to-back season in his final year at Virginia Tech. The next name coming up here, 165, the Houston cornerback Marcus Jones. 9 special teams touchdowns, versatile, quick, can hit top speed, super shifty. He's going to be a hell of a special teams player, that I know. With good coaching, maybe he can be a cornerback. If you're creative enough on the offensive side of the football, he's athletic enough where I wouldn't be afraid to hand him the football on the offensive side and see what he can do in space. And then rounding out my Raiders mock draft in round 7, pick 228, I'm going to go with Christopher Allen, the edge rusher out of Alabama. He was a very highly recruited high school player. Had a lot of injuries that started to rack up, and if it wasn't for those injuries, you'd probably see him go a little bit higher. So the Raiders had 5 picks. I think I addressed a lot of the needs on the defensive side of the football because a lot of the splashy moves the Raiders made during free agency and the trade for Davante were on the offensive side of the football. So I was like, all right, I know people like to talk about offense, but if you're going to win this division, you better have a good defense, and you're going to need some more depth. So be honest with me. I want you to go ahead and grade this Raiders mock draft. Give it an A if you absolutely love it, B if it's good, C if it's average, D if it's bad. If it's an F, it'll break my heart a little bit, but it's all good. For me personally, if I also take into consideration the Davante Adams move, I'm going to go ahead and give me a B+ in this Raiders mock draft.